what if, like, the future of learning, it's not about, dusty textbooks, but about software that, like, understands exactly what you need, right when you need it.
Yeah.
We've all seen the headlines about AI in schools, right? That, like, initial fear of students acing everything, but not really learning.
Right.
But what if that fear is just one side of a way more interesting story, a story about how education could really change for the better?
That's exactly it. I think we need that shift in perspective.
Yeah.
It's not just about, policing how AI is misused, but about exploring how learning could be totally reshaped.
Okay.
So today we're doing a deep dive into how AI is actually being used in education.
Awesome.
We've looked at TED Talks, YouTube discussions with educators, and even examples from schools that are already using AI.
So for everyone listening, our goal today is to cut through the hype and the worry
Right.
and really get to the heart of how AI is being used in education right now.
Yeah.
What are the exciting possibilities and what are the challenges we need to be aware of? Okay, so where do we even begin with all of this?
Well, a good place to start, and this came up in a lot of what we looked at,
Okay.
is the idea of the two sigma problem.
Okay.
Back in 1984, Benjamin Bloom's research showed something really amazing.
Okay.
Students who had one-on-one tutoring did a full 2 standard deviations better
Wow.
than those in a traditional classroom.
That's huge.
And that's not a small difference.
Yeah.
It's a giant leap in terms of how much they learned.
Right.
Just imagine if every student could have that kind of personalized attention.
It could be life-changing for so many students.
Absolutely.
But like Paul Matthews said in his TEDx talk,
Yes.
giving every student a personal tutor.
Yeah.
It's a great idea in theory, but it's just not realistic.
Right.
He said that just for Tasmania, it would cost billions of dollars.
It's a logistical nightmare.
Yeah, so one-on-one tutoring has always been out of reach for most people.
Exactly. And that's where AI has so much potential. Think about it. AI can actually create those personalized learning environments that Bloom talked about.
Right.
And it can do it on a scale we could never achieve with human tutors alone.
That's a really interesting point.
Both Matthews and Sal Khan from Khan Academy see AI as a way to finally solve this problem.
Interesting.
AI could make individualized support available to so many more students.
So let's talk about some of those possibilities.
Okay.
How is AI actually making a difference in education right now?
One of the most promising areas is personalized tutoring.
Okay.
Sal Khan showed their AI tool Khanmigo, and it's seriously impressive.
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
It's like a personal math tutor. It doesn't just give answers.
Yeah.
It actually walks students through problems and figures out exactly where they're getting stuck.
It's so cool.
Like, remember that student who didn't distribute the negative sign?
Yeah.
Imagine having that kind of patient-targeted support whenever you need it.
That would have been a game changer for me in school.
For a lot of us, I think.
And it wasn't just math, right? There was that coding example.
Yes.
Where a student was trying to make clouds move and Khanmigo was actually understanding the code and giving really helpful suggestions.
That's right.
It's like having an expert right there with you.
Yeah, it's incredible.
So AI can be this amazing personalized tutor for students.
Yeah.
But what about the teachers? How does all this affect them?
Well, AI can be a huge support for teachers, too.
Okay, good, because I was worried about that.
There are a lot of AI tools being developed to help ease the workload on teachers.
Like what?
Well, for example, there's Magic School AI, which the Teacher's Toolbox talked about.
Okay.
These tools can help with things like lesson planning, creating activities, even drafting emails.
Wow.
That can free up a lot of time for teachers.
That would be huge.
And then there's Diffit, which can adjust reading materials to match different reading levels in a classroom.
Oh, that's interesting.
Paul Matthews talked about that too. He said, it's really important for making sure everyone has access to the material.
Yeah, that makes sense.
He called the old way spray and pray, which basically means just giving everyone the same thing and hoping for the best.
And that obviously doesn't work.
Not really.
But AI can make it so much easier to give every student what they need.
Exactly.
So what else? What other kinds of tools are there?
Well, there's GradeScope, which can help with grading.
Okay.
Canvas Magic, right, for creating content.
Right.
And ChatGPT for educators, which can help with things like brainstorming and creating rubrics.
Those all sound really helpful.
The main benefit of all these tools is that they give teachers back their time.
That's so important.
Sal Khan said that if AI can take care of some of those more routine tasks, teachers can spend more time actually interacting with their students.
Right.
And focusing on their individual needs.
It's about empowering teachers, not replacing them, right?
Yes, exactly.
Most of what we've looked at seems to agree on that.
Exactly.
Although the idea of a teacherless classroom is out there.
It is. There are schools like Alpha School in Texas, and some places in the UK that are experimenting with that.
It definitely sparks a lot of debate.
It does. But most people seem to think that AI should be a tool to help teachers.
Not to replace them.
Right.
So how else can AI improve learning for students?
Well, the examples Sal Khan gave were really fascinating.
Oh, yeah. Like what?
Imagine a student being able to have a conversation with a character from a book like Jay Gatsby, from The Great Gatsby.
Whoa.
To really understand what the book is about.
That's amazing.
That kind of immersive experience is hard to achieve with traditional teaching methods.
It's a whole different level of engagement.
Exactly.
And I talked about debate simulations, too.
Yes, those are another great way for students to get involved with complex issues.
Right.
Like the one they did on student debt.
It sounds like the students really got into that.
They did. They said it helped them develop their arguments and build their confidence.
And AI can help create those kinds of experiences.
It can provide a safe space for students to try out their ideas without feeling judged.
That's really important.
It is.
And then there's the whole idea of AI making education more accessible and equitable.
Absolutely.
Paul Matthews' example about Jess.
Yeah, the student who was struggling with the basics.
Yeah, and might have gotten lost in a busy classroom.
It's a common problem, unfortunately.
That really resonated with me.
AI can provide that one-on-one support and feedback that students like Jess need.
Exactly.
It can adapt to their pace and figure out exactly what they're missing.
So AI can actually help those students who are falling behind.
It has the potential to, yes.
It could be a lifeline for them.
And as we talked about before, making sure materials are accessible to different reading levels is key.
That text differentiation thing.
Exactly.
Okay, so Alpha School also had this interesting idea about self-driven learners.
Yes.
I mean, their model is pretty different, using AI to teach the main curriculum.
Right.
But they really focus on coaching students to become independent.
That's a really interesting approach.
They even have them do passion projects like putting together IKEA furniture.
That's right. Or managing an Airbnb.
It's a very hands-on approach.
It's definitely making me rethink what education should be about.
Yeah, it challenges the traditional model.
But with all of these potential benefits, we have to talk about the concerns, too.
Of course.
I mean, the initial reaction to AI in schools was a lot of fear about cheating.
Yeah, that was definitely a big concern at first. Everyone was worried that students would just use AI to write their essays and do their homework without actually learning anything.
That's right. Both Paul Matthews and Sal Khan talked about that.
But there's another side to that argument, right?
There is.
What if instead of seeing AI as a cheating tool, we see it as a learning tool?
Exactly.
Like using AI to get feedback on a draft of an essay.
Yeah.
Or even using it for collaborative writing, like Khan was saying.
Right.
It's a different way of looking at it.
It reframes AI as a partner in learning.
But there's still the worry that students might become too reliant on AI.
Yes, that's a legitimate concern.
The Today segment on Alpha School mentioned a study about that.
Oh, right. The one that found that using AI tutors too much can actually hurt learning.
Yeah, because students might not develop their own problem-solving skills.
Exactly. It's a tricky balance.
We need to make sure AI is supporting learning, not replacing it.
Definitely.
And then there's the whole human side of education.
Right. The teacher-student relationship.
That connection is so important.
It is. And there's a lot of concern about AI dehumanizing education.
Yeah, the Sky News report on the teacherless classroom in the UK talked about that.
Right. There's a worry that we could lose those important interactions between teachers and students.
Those interactions are what helps students develop social and emotional skills.
Exactly.
And those soft skills are crucial for success in life.
They are.
The former head teacher they interviewed, Chris McGovern, was very skeptical about learning solely from AI.
Yeah, he emphasized how important human interaction is for learning.
And even the UK's Department for Education said that teachers are essential and can't be replaced.
That's a strong statement.
But then in that same report, Mickey Carroll said that AI might actually be better at figuring out why a child is struggling.
Oh, that's interesting.
So it's a complex issue.
It is. There are strong arguments on both sides.
On the one hand, AI can give us amazing data about learning gaps.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, the human connection is so important.
It's about finding the right balance.
So what are the keys to successfully integrating AI into education?
Well, Paul Matthews made two really important points.
What were they?
First, teachers need proper training on how to use AI.
Yeah, that makes sense.
They can't just be expected to figure it out on their own.
Right.
And second, We need clear rules and guidelines for how to use AI responsibly.
So guardrails, basically.
Tom?
Khan talked about recording and moderating AI conversations to make sure they're appropriate.
That's a good idea.
And we need to teach students how to use AI ethically.
Absolutely.
Show them that it's a learning tool, not just a way to cheat.
Right.
And there's also that black box problem.
Yeah, that's an important one.
Even though AI can often tell us when we've made a mistake,
Right.
it doesn't always explain why.
That's true.
And in education, we need to make sure students understand why something is wrong, not just that it is.
Definitely.
So it sounds like AI in education is a real balancing act.
It is.
There's huge potential for personalized learning and empowering teachers.
Yeah.
But we have to be careful about over-reliance and dehumanizing education.
Exactly.
And we need to be thoughtful about how we use AI.
And how we prepare teachers and students for this new reality.
So the future of education really depends on the choices we make now.
It does. It's a rapidly changing landscape, and we're still learning about the possibilities and the risks.
It's exciting and a little bit scary at the same time.
It is, but it's definitely a conversation worth having.
So for everyone listening, how do you think we can find that balance? How can we use AI to make learning better for everyone?
Yeah, make sure we don't lose those human elements that make education so special.
What role do you see yourself playing in shaping the future of learning?
We encourage you to check out some of the AI tools we've talked about and keep the conversation going.
This is just the beginning.
It really is.
Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.
It was great to be here.